Hey guys, welcome to INEOS Grenadier. So I am bringing this to you today as a curated package for the INEOS Grenadier. What we're presenting to you today is going to be largely our Stock Plus, or our Fast Muscle Street package. And this is going to consist of a couple key pieces and components which we've vetted, we've tested, we know works. And we're going to put these on our black 26 INEOS Grenadier, 1924 edition to be exact. Anyway, there's some cosmetic enhancement this is going to get, but I want to run through what's going to go underneath the truck. I'm going to unbox it all. I haven't rehearsed this, so you're going to watch me fumble around, but one of the key things is we have one of the best shock absorber assemblies I've ever run on a Grenadier. And I'm going to open this up and show you what makes it so special. But let's get started with it. So, to start with, these things are no slouch. The B58 motor cooks, it moves, but we want more juice out of it. So what we're going to do what we like to call tuning. So we have a JB4 tuner here. These actually work really, really well. They're largely kind of plug and play. That requires a little bit of manipulation, but we put this in the truck, we hit a few key buttons, and voila. All of a sudden we've got more oomph, more boost, more power, more go. While it may not be, Mercedes AMG levels, this is certainly going to be a substantial uptick from what it is factory. And that plays homage to what it is, or what we're looking to achieve on this is a fast street truck. So with that, we need to move on to the suspension and the way it handles. Now, the INEOS Grenadier is, for lack of better words, a very, very capable platform. The stuff that's underneath it works pretty good, but it's a little on the harsh side. And I'm kind of a stickler for suspension. Anyone that knows me knows that my background is in motorsports and off-road racing and motocross and all that jazz. So one of the first things we like to do is let's get rid of that factory steering stabilizer and let's put one of these bad boys on there. This is actually made by Fox. This is what we like to call an ATS, or pass-through unit. It's really stiff right now. But these are adjustable, so we can pick how much damping it has. But the rod actually passes all the way through this thing, and it's what's known as a static damper, or a neutral damper, meaning that it's not pressurized, so it's not going to pressurize one side or the other. So if you're looking at doing an aftermarket damper setup, this is kind of the way to go because it's the best on the market. They're rebuildable, you can tune them as you want, but you have a little adjuster there so you can make the steering as stiff or as light as you want, and it's a sweet overall package. I like these a lot. So that's going on there. Moving on from there, we have springs. Now for this one, we chose Eibach. And there's a couple different manufacturers that make springs for these, but the nice thing about these, again, I've driven them and they come in different heights. So for this particular truck, we're actually doing it's about an inch taller. And we're not really looking to achieve a whole lot of extra height, but we're doing this, we're doing this to get the truck off of the bump stops. So, springs are not that exciting. They're not that sexy looking, but they're silver. Versus the factory ones are yellow. So that's how you can tell they're different. So there's your springs. We also have the other springs coming out of here. And so again, this is the way that they're different from the factory springs. Don't get me wrong, the factory springs are pretty darn good. These are going to be a little bit stiffer rate. What that means is spring rate. They're able to hold more weight before they compress a fixed amount. So we're going to use the metric system here since we can, and it's derived out of tens. So let's say the factory springs compress X amount of millimeters per 100 kilos of weight added. These are going to compress a little bit less per 100 kilos added. But they're also designed to be a little bit taller in the ride height so that the truck can articulate through its travel without hitting the bump stops, which is important in an urban environment. If you think about it, you hit potholes, curbs, parking lot undulations, and you really slow down for that, or you don't want to slow down for it. There's no reason for it. You want to be able to roll past those, have it soak up the bumps, and keep going and maintain control. Really important. So these are the rears, those are the fronts. Not to overly simplify them, but they are simple. Now, other things, you got to get the truck to handle. We call sway bars. These fun little devices basically make the truck resist body roll. So this is attached to the underside of the truck, and it attaches the axles to the body, so to speak, and acts as a kind of a rotational spring to keep it from rolling. So in this we got some new mounts, some hardware, looks like some poly bushings, that's kind of nice. Actually, this is really nice stuff. It's all aluminum, it's anodized. That's actually a really nice piece of kit, I like that. And these are thicker. These are the Eibach sway bars. Let's pull these out of here. So we have one sway bar, and we have the other. So that's what these things look like. And again, the factory ones work pretty good, but they're pretty thin, which allows for a lot of articulation. This is likely not the units you want to use on a pure off-road build, because this is going to resist body roll and articulation. But for a street use where you're going to be higher speeds, you're going to be changing lanes. How can I best put this? We're in Colorado. Everyone drives the speed limit plus, which is 80 miles an hour. You want to be able to maintain control of this thing while you're changing lanes, going up I-70 to ski or whatever you want to do. These are some of the key components to make that happen. The truck's going to sit about an inch taller than stock. So this is some key important parts here. But the really important part that I want to expose is what's in this box. So this came to us all the way from Spain, and it's actually partnered with another company called Flare Space. And these are, oh man, they use zip ties everywhere. The joke is this is the world's most expensive metal case. But this is arguably some of the best suspension I've ever run on a truck. So they give us these cool suspension links to go with it. Sway bar links, love that. Packaging is pretty phenomenal. But these are dampers that you cannot get anywhere else but here. There's only a few people that have them, and we have them. So we partnered with another company, Flare Space, Invictus, to get these. And these are, for lack of better words, Bilstein 8100 series absorbers is what they start life as. And then they are carefully modified and valved to work for this. Let's see what else we got in here. More stuff. Now there's a lot to this kit. More dampers, some pieces, some brackets. Anyway, let's unbox, let's just pull these apart so we see exactly what we're dealing with here. I'm gonna go ahead and get these off the table and make some room. Whew, a lot of work, I had to shove everything off the table. Okay, so let's open this up and see what makes it special. For starters, it is physically larger than just about anything else we've worked with in the past. We do work with King and Fox and some of the other brands, but the King units are only 2.5 inches in diameter, and these are larger. So right off the bat, I see that there's a lot of stuff that's different here. And I'll walk you through it here. All right, so the reservoirs on these are massive. And the shock bodies are massive also. So you may notice they say 4x4 Project Pre-Runner on this. This is part of their Pre-Runner shock series. And the key thing you're going to notice is there's no adjustments on this whatsoever, none. You have a port back here, which is not an adjuster. This is actually a nitrogen port where you can charge and discharge the nitrogen container on this. But everything is anodized, everything is O-ring, everything is sealed. You have a heat dissipation brick here that helps dissipate heat from the remote reservoir. But this has what they call digressive valving, meaning that it will change based on position and speed at which the piston is moving inside of here. The reason this is the top dog in the shock world right now is these are valved according to application. So when I ordered these, I specifically was very specific of what the truck is going to be used for and how much it weighs, the speeds, accessories that are going to be on it, and its overall use case. So what was happening at the factory is the shim stack inside of this was optimized for that package, meaning that it's going to be able to absorb those sharp edge bumps, like speed bumps. We call those high-speed dampening. It's going to be able to absorb that very easily without transferring all that energy to the rest of the chassis. Also, the low-speed bumps that we're thinking about, which is going to be, think of your G-outs. You know, you're going through, you're 70 miles an hour going through dips in the road. That's what you call a low-speed damping curve. That is also optimized so that you won't bottom out, but you still can utilize all of your suspension travel. So that's really important on a product like this. So these are definitely not cheap, but again, you get what you pay for. These are stout. These are all, 5/8 inch hoses. Everything is AN fittings. Everything is anodized. The nice part is we've got Heim joints at the end. Everything is sealed. So getting this on the truck is going to result in a really solid package that is really nice riding. That's why we put this together with these springs, with the sway bars, with the whole package that's going to allow this truck to ride a whole lot better. It's going to sit slightly taller, but coupled with the rest of the mods, it's going to look right, it's going to drive right, and feel very planted, unlike, it's going to feel similar to a factory Grenadier, but it's going to feel enhanced for on-road use. Now, there's one more part of the equation. So we've got the suspension stuff. We've also got a new wheel we're going to put on this. So this is a new one. It's actually one of the prototypes that came out. It's a non-beadlock wheel. It's meant to be a non-aggressive style wheel, just a clean on-road blacked out look. And we got the first set here. We're going to run it on this. We're probably going to put some Falcon all-terrains on this. So again, it's very subtle. Not meant to be hardcore off-road aggressive, just meant to be sharp, neat looking, and just as a new product out there that we're gonna run. So actually I have a huge thanks to Flare Space for helping us out with this. They helped us get the right product, got the prototype wheels. We're gonna get it on this truck here and go through the full build process with you so you can see what it looks like at the end of the day when we're done with it. And we're gonna put it through its paces. All right, so going back to the power side of things for a minute, we have the JB4 tuner, and I glossed over the specs on this, but this little fun tuning box is gonna get us an additional 120 horsepower and 120 foot-pounds of torque. So it's gonna take it from 282 horsepower to 402 horsepower and 332 torques to 452 torques, foot-pounds, torque, feet, whatever. Anyway, a significant jump is what I'm trying to say. So this combined with our exhaust system. Now this exhaust is not for this truck. We make them in-house. It's actually on the jig right now for a Grenadier, but this is the level and detail that we go to. Everything is mandrel bent, TIG welded, V-banded, et cetera, et cetera. We're not messing around. Anyway, this coupled with a full exhaust on the truck is gonna result in some glorious sounds because you gotta hear you coming. And it's gonna be able to scoot and get there faster. So anyway, want to touch on that real quick. Okay, so in quick review, we have all the pieces and parts here that's needed to make this thing a unique, muscular street pounder. We've already showed you the exhaust. We've got the tuner from the power side. We're trying out these new prototype wheels from Invictus. We're gonna get these on there. They're gonna look really hot with some Falcons. We've got our Eibach sway bars, our links. We've got our Eibach springs, higher spring rate, all the cool Gucci bracketry. We've got our Fox ATS steering damper, and the centerpiece is gonna be these dampers on this truck, fully tuned, ready to rip. So we've put together this package because we know it works. We follow similar methodology for our other brands, G-Wagons, where we know that there's not a one single solution for everybody. That's why we put together single packages that work based on your use case, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, we will offer this whole package for sale as well, pieces and parts, or you can have the truck shipped to us and we will do the full install for you. We are going to put this on our website. Don't look for it yet. We'll throw a link out there when it is live. But we're doing this because we've done it before. We know this works very, very well. And once we have everything live, we'll send you a link to it so you can check it out for yourself. I'm Joe Goetcher, Apex Grenadier. Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you about your Grenadier adventures and where you want to go next.